Oh, that's harsh.
Okay. How's everyone doing this morning?
Pretty good.
Okay. Give you some entertainment for the morning. Okay, what I'd like to do today is really just have a moment of, kind of reflection. Okay, today is the final day of the first quarter, and what we said in the fall of last year. Remember what we said in the fall of last year is that if you do not start the year with 15% of your goal under contract, pending and ready to close, you're already behind on January 1st. Okay, if you're looking specifically at a 2021 goal. So again, if you do not have 15% of your goal already under contract by January 1, you're already behind, and the year just started 5 seconds ago. Okay, so it's a similar concept moving into the second quarter. However, the first quarter, the second quarter, all that stuff, it's really just for tax purposes, right? It's really got no significance beyond that. And so I don't want you to get too caught up in, oh, well, I was out of town, or I was sick, or I had COVID, or, whatever it was. I want you can start to think of your year starting right now. Okay. And we can treat the next 4 quarters, first or second quarter of 2021 to second quarter of 2022, and that can be your year. If that makes you feel better, if that gives you kind of a clearer focus on what you need to be focused on, then that's the way I want you to treat it. Okay. The good news is that we have some evidence on what you've done over the past couple weeks or months and what type of results it got. Okay, what you done versus what type of results you got. What I'm noticing in some of the numbers globally, and I'm going to encourage you guys to examine your numbers individually, is that this is by far the best month we have had in conversion. Okay, so we are not quite to 50% in seller listings. As of this moment, we've gone on 36 listing appointments this month and taken 16. That is better than January or February, but we're still a little bit shy of 50%. We're about 45%. And buyer listings taken, we have been, a little under 50%, a little over 50%, and now we are right at 50%. The only issue with this evidence is that it cracks the 4-3-2-1, which is we're basically suggesting that if we go on 3, we will take 2 and close 1. We're a little underperforming on that. Does that make sense to everybody? So I want you to understand, obviously your numbers are going to be a bit different individually, but as a group, if you take all the appointments we're going on and all the listing agreements that we're getting signed, we're not quite to the percentage that I'd like to be at. And even that number is a little less than what I would consider to be, top performance. So I want you to look at your numbers, and I want you to say to yourself, hey, am I converting at the percentage that I would expect to convert, right? We have some people on the call that, are converting well beyond that. And we have some people on the call, I'm sure, that Miriam, seriously, please.
Hello. Hey, I'm your daughter. You know that.
Okay, say hi to everybody.
Hi. Hi, Charles. Getting the baby out.
Hey, guys. Guys.
That's my world.
What's that?
I said, that's my world in the day.
Here, Ben, say hi really fast, and then you guys can go. Please.
Daddy.
All right, out of here. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second.
Hi, why are you waiting? Thank you for the
Out
coffee.
of here. Thank you for the coffee.
Please go get breakfast.
Say thank you for the coffee.
Thank you for the coffee, guys.
You're
Everyone out. Close the door, please. Close the door. Okay, I am so sorry. God, family business, right?
You got coffee, man. There you go.
And I have coffee, so.
Her response was amazing, Bill. She's like, I'm your daughter. You know that.
Yeah, she's a trip. Oh my gosh. So, what I'd like for you to do, guys, is to examine your numbers in the first quarter and determine is your MREA2 plan in line, statistically speaking, to what your goals are for this next quarter. Because what I don't want you to do is have a plan that expects you to convert at 75% and you're converting at 40%. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's do a little gratitude this morning. What's everyone grateful for? Sorry, I should have started with that. I got right into the meat of it. Who wants to
Going
share?
on vacation next week.
Ashley, you're going on vacation next week. Don't you have a big closing coming up in a couple days?
Yes, on Friday, right before I leave.
Wow. All right, go get you a pay at close so you can take that money with you now.
That's right.
Ashley's closing a $1.3 million buyer on Friday. Her first, that's her first sale, right?
With Keller Williams, yes.
With Keller Williams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What
Right.
a sale. What a sale.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank
And
you.
by the way, that was one where she was the backup offer and the initial offer didn't go through. So she then fell into primary position. So
Yeah.
don't think that those things don't work. As Pam can attest, I think if I was to go back and count, I think I was involved, and it didn't, most of the markets that I worked in weren't anything close to this, but I think I've been involved in 8 or 9 backup offer situations, some on the buyer side, some on the seller side. There was only one time where the home did not sell to the backup offer. Only one time, which is quite shocking. All right, who else? Some of you guys have had some pretty awesome weeks from a reporting standpoint. Who wants to share? Candace, what are you grateful for today?
I am grateful for the rain. I'm not somebody who suffers from allergies, but I know there are a lot of people out there that are just breathing easy today. So I'm grateful for the rain that cleans the air.
Love that. Love that. Anyone else want to share?
I'm grateful, a little off topic, but definitely grateful for good health. Messed up my arm pretty bad last week, Bill. I was telling you about that. Pretty bad. I mean, I can't tell you the details, but but it's pretty bad. But it's getting much better, much better. And it happened to my left arm, and I'm a lefty, right? So yeah, grateful for good health.
Yep. So I'm glad you're feeling better. Mihir, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you know? I have not, I've been out of town, so I'm not completely up to speed on what you're talking about. I think I know what it is, but I don't know the details. Can you tell us what you know?
I do not really know. I was posted on a group, the GLG group by Andy Peters, regarding a bill that is that he wants us to send it to the legislature.
Yep.
It's called Remote Online Notary Bill. It's allowed for residential real estate closings. It will lead to out-of-state title companies with no physical ties to Georgia closing the majority of real estate transactions in the state from their out-of-state locations.
Yeah, so that's going to greatly and certainly greatly impact the role of the closing attorney. Basically, that doesn't surprise me. I don't want to speak too much on it. I'll do a little bit of research today, so I can speak a little bit more confidently tomorrow. But it sounds like the closing attorney business, there's pressure for it to go similar to the way that the real estate business is going, which is there's going to be kind of a low cost, low service, low touch deliverable for another portion of the real estate transaction. And those that either don't feel the need or don't understand the value that particular service provider provides, they will opt for a cheaper experience. and that may or may not work in their favor, right? You guys saw the news about 4 new executives being hired for KWX, right? What are your thoughts on that?
I didn't see it. Can you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, so let's start with the big time basics. The big time basics are a holding company that was formed called KWX. And that is kind of the umbrella company, if you will, of KWRI, Keller Williams International, the real estate firm, right? That includes the commercial. Also KW Worldwide, that's all the international regions. Keller Offered and Keller Covered, which now has its own umbrella company. And I feel like I'm forgetting something. I think maybe one more. So all that is under KWX. There was a gentleman named Carl Liefert that was brought in as the CEO of KWX back in the fall. He's been the head of USAA and a couple of other major companies in the past. He had a presence at Family Reunion, and now they've hired 4 additional executives for KWX. Gary is the executive chairman of KWX. He moved to that role officially when he stepped away from the CEO role of KWRI, Keller Williams International. There's a lot of discussion. I've got a couple inside sources that seem to agree that there's some discussion of that KWX would go public. That would not affect, well, who knows what it would affect, quite honestly. But that certainly wouldn't affect anything regarding the ALC or profit share or anything like that. So I think that is a possibility. That Gary and Carl sent out a letter to everyone a few days ago, just explaining kind of, it started off with the game is changing, right? I think the major, okay, Ty, I'm curious why you're saying that, but, and not that I disagree with you, I just want to hear your opinion, is it's a money play, in my opinion, right? We're competing with a bunch of venture-backed companies that have billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. And there's some things that a privately held company has limitations on, even though we're a multi-billion-dollar private company. Ty, what's your opinion on the matter?
There we go. If I understand, they're just going public. So that's just for my personal portfolio. I have faith in Gary Keller. Obviously, he knows how to run an established business and be successful. So I can only assume that this would be a profitable decision for investors, stock investors. Am I hearing this? Is that correct? Or maybe
I mean, there would be the option to invest in KWX stock if that's okay. Thanks, Candace. There would be an option to invest in KWX stock if if it ultimately went public. There's a couple of elements involved. One is what happens to the, what's the opportunity for investors? And to me, most importantly, is what's the opportunity for agents, right? Every piece of commentary that I've ever heard from Gary talks about agents being at the center of the transaction, and I have no reason to believe that would change, right? Every decision that is made in this organization is based on how do we give our people more tools and more resources so that they can go out and build their company, right? Their brand, right? There's a phrase that I used a lot in recruiting that I think is relevant here, which is your typical company believes that their greatest asset is their brand. We believe our greatest asset is our agents, okay? If we don't have any agents, we don't have anything, okay? If we take care of our greatest asset, which is our people, our real estate agents, they will take care of their people, which are the consumer. The alternative to that is the brand itself believes that their client is the consumer, and the, middleman, so to speak, the worker bee is the agent, and they just supply all the work. Does that make sense? It's a very, very different philosophical discussion, right? Who is the brand? Who is Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, Remax, whoever? Who are they appealing to? Keller Williams, in my experience, 10 plus years, is everything they've ever done is an effort to make the agent the center of the transaction, have all the tools and resources they need to go out and deliver top-notch service to their people. The alternative is they go directly to the people and then sell the lead back to their agent. Make sense?
Yeah.
One is quite appealing to an entrepreneur, and one is quite appealing to a somebody that is more comfortable in kind of an employee mindset, if you will. Corey, what were you going to say?
So Pam and I were talking about this yesterday, and just this article, and we've talked about this before. Just what you were just saying, going direct to the consumer. It's similar to any other of the industries that have done this, like music or television. Even grocery stores, they're having delivery services. It's I don't know if that's the best example, the grocery store, but regardless, all of these industries are changing and transforming in the way they do business. And so real estate is also one of those industries that's being looked at. And it's not a bad thing. It's really, if you think about it, it's the world, all of the creative minds thinking, how can we make this more efficient? And so I think that's what these companies are doing. The thing is, for a company like Keller Williams and other more traditional real estate companies, with agents at the heart of the transaction, it's threatening for a direct-to-consumer experience because it takes them out of that important role.
It minimizes their compensation for it.
Exactly. And we've heard, in years ahead, maybe, I don't even know how many years, 5, 10, 15, probably not even that long, maybe 5 or 10, that the commission rate will not be where it is right now. It'll be decreased.
No way the commission rate will be where it is now.
Right.
No way.
So
and that will happen much faster than 15 years, just so everyone hears that clearly. Because
yeah.
Think of it this way. If there's 500 tasks that a real estate agent does, and now all of a sudden an algorithm is going to do 250 of them, you're not going to get paid to do 500 of them anymore. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So where I see
I'm sorry. What I read.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just what I read in Gary's email was that they are getting serious about, like, they understand how serious this threat is, and so they're hiring these 4 executives, bringing them in to try to counter this. And the main message I got was to keep the agent at the center of the transaction. So, and that they're looking at all options, and they're really working hard to try to do this. So
right. If you look at the resumes of those 4 individuals plus Carl, I mean, these are some pretty impressive people, right? These are not just like, oh damn, we need some more hands on deck, let's go find the first person who needs a job. I mean, these are some serious experienced people. What I would say is there's a book called Thank You for Being Late. It is a phenomenal book. There's some political overtones. I'm not endorsing that, or not endorsing that, but the book itself is really, really, really interesting. And it talks about how basically technology is changing every industry, and it is turning in a lot of the kind of how do I want to say this, like some of the lower level jobs are going to be replaced by machines, right? Truck driver, I'm not saying that's a lower level job, but things that a machine could ultimately do on a self-driving car, I don't think we're going to have truck drivers in 10, 15 years, right? Maybe even less. So there's some things that the skill set of a professional is going to have to change, right? You're either going to have to become, very tech savvy and very data oriented, right? Or deliver an incredible high level concierge type experience. Or there's going to be a group of realtors that make 35 grand opening doors for Redfin and Zillow. You see what I'm saying? So I think it's going to stretch a little bit. It's going to stretch down, which is the people that are interested in paying a low price for a low level of service. And then there's going to be the people that oftentimes are going to be, much more entrepreneurially experienced, have large teams most likely, and can deliver super, super high level of experience. And that's like the people who go to the Days Inn versus the people that go to the Ritz. Does that make sense? They got beds at both places. Why would anyone go to the Ritz if they can go to the Days Inn? They go there because it's an experience, and they're willing to pay for the experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, give me some more feedback, you guys. What else are you thinking right now? I'll give you one more hint, which is you can't stand by and let this industry just change right in front of you. There's a quote that Gary said a few years ago that I had on my door for a long time. It says, "You will not be replaced by technology. However, you will be replaced by the agent who has mastered and is embracing technology."
And I think also this is the time because our commissions are still what they are, to really work hard as we can and put as much aside as we can and maybe start some investing.
I love that thought. I actually didn't put that together myself. That's awesome, Candace.
Thank you.
Right. Hey, it's springtime. We put out a second quarter GPS yesterday that, in my opinion, is pretty aggressive. Right? It's springtime. What's the line? Let's make hay when the sun shines. Right? Isn't that the line? People are out there. Let's go help them. Let's go get compensated fully to do so.
So there's a brand new agent in one of the regions now a year. He's been in business a year, but he was the rookie of the year for the region. He sold 34 homes. He did $8.9 million worth of business, and his only thing that he did was open houses. He got buyers and sellers out of that, door knocking around it. He just got really, really good at open houses. Now that's not to say open house is the only way, but I'm listening to the one thing right now in my audiobooks, and if you focus, laser focus on the one thing that you're good at or that you love, and you just make it better and better and better so that you're the best, you can do that. His gross commission, his earnings last year was about $267,000 minus his cost of business and expenses. So that's a good amount of money to be able to start doing some investing and live.
Wow. Yeah.
He's going to the Ritz.
Right. Ain't that right? All right. So let's do. Let me just do another quick little thought on some of the numbers really fast. Okay. One of the other things that I'm seeing, you guys, is that we are probably going to be the lowest, unless there's some serious reporting and some serious action this week. We're probably going to have the lowest number of pipeline ads and probably database ads all year in March. We'll probably be somewhere middle of the road for contacts. The database ads and pipeline ads are down, yet appointments are a tiny bit up or steady. So are we noticing what is tell me something about that. Do we not have enough to say to the people we're speaking to so that we can offer them, something? We can offer them a neighborhood nurture, we can offer them a vendor list, we can offer them a CMA, whatever it may be, in exchange for their contact information. Are we not creating enough value over the telephone that they want to communicate with us in the future? Walk me through that. Are you guys having any of those kind of challenges? Anything? Okay, so let me ask you this. So far we have added about 875 people in the first quarter to our pipeline. Okay. Now, I know that I've always told you 3 times the number of sales that you want to have in your pipeline should be your goal. So that means that if we close a third of our pipeline, we should have 275 sales or so. Let's say that we do that consistently over four quarters. What is that? That's 1,100, 1,200 sales. That would 3x in my opinion, pretty super aggressive goal for closings this year. So the potential is there. The potential is there. One other thing that I think might be happening a tiny bit is we're probably pretty lenient on what we're calling an appointment, would be my understanding. Okay. And I think that's probably why we're not getting as many listings signed at the highest percentage. Okay. So having a conversation with somebody about buying a home is not an appointment. An appointment is a needs analysis, right? You're going through all of the questions and then you're asking for the opportunity to help them. And you're putting paperwork in front of them with the expectation they either sign it there or agree to review it and ask any questions that they have prior to signing it. So tell me a little bit about that experience. Are you guys having trouble dealing with objections? Are you having trouble asking for the order? Do you not? Are you having trouble creating urgency? What challenges are we facing out there right now?
I would say, when you say that, Bill, I would say creating urgency is definitely there. Some of the people you're talking to, they're, some of them are definitely keeping a pulse of the market. So, some of them are kind of saying, well, it is pretty crazy right now. And so I think, yeah, definitely creating an urgency, I would say is one of them when you talk to people.
Okay. So, remember when you're talking about the discussion of urgency, you got to remember the difference between a condition, right, and an objection. A condition would be, hey, I'm not selling the home before the kid finishes school, then I'll put the home on the market. Ain't nothing you can say about that, right? Or a divorce decree says I can only sell it this, after this date, right? A objection would be, I don't know if now's the right time. I'm not confident now's the right time to buy or sell, right? I'm not confident the interest rates is where it needs to be for me to make a move. I don't know if I want to work with you, right? Those are totally different questions, right? Have you guys, I know this was on both the second quarter GPS and the foundational GPS. Who has just said to themselves, gosh, I think if I just make a commitment to getting better at what I say, the scripts, right, then I'll be much better at this business, and therefore has dedicated time each and every day to get better with the script. Is there anybody that wants to share that experience? Is there anyone that's committed to that?
I'll say, it can get overwhelming because there are so many different scenarios. So what I'm trying to do is, and we talked about this before, about, when we are learning something, then it's really useless unless you apply it. And so I've taken that to heart, and I, particularly this week with FSBOs, there was a FSBO that popped up in my neighborhood with a friend and neighbor. So I've been studying.
A friend of yours decided to sell their home alone?
Yeah. And she didn't even tell me, like, I've talked with her about being in real estate. I mean, she's not like a super, like, I'm not in touch with her all the time, but I've known her for 16 years. Okay. So, anyway, I have an appointment, or I'm trying to reschedule an appointment with her today, to talk about it. But I've been looking over the FSBO scripts, but they're outdated. They're from like 2004. I need to find another another FSBO script booklet. It might be in that.
So there's some good stuff in, there's 2 documents. There's the, I think it's called FSBO Formatted, if I'm not mistaken. That walks you through, that's from Bold 2.0. So that's, last year. And then there's the locker room scripts, which I posted a few times last week.
Yep.
That has some really good FSBO stuff in it.
Yeah.
It's really the questions of, why did you choose to find the home or sell the home yourself? Where are you going? Why is that important? It's a lot of the same questions.
Yeah. So, I mean, and really, I'm going to rely a lot on my, what I do is I have my kind of just the way that I approach things anyway, just from a conversational and connection standpoint. But those scripts are really important, just having some anchor questions. So, for your question, studying scripts with, areas that, that I'm not as confident in is very helpful, because basically they're proven tools or approaches, and, it's just adding to my tool set. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not looking at any scripts right now, so I'll just throw out some of the main ones, right? It's, tell me a little bit about where you're moving to, right? Why is that important to you? When do you have to be there by, right? I noticed you're selling your home yourself. Tell me a little bit more about that. How did you choose, is there a particular reason why you decided to sell your home yourself, right? How long would you attempt to sell the home yourself before you hired a professional real estate agent, right? How's the experience been so far, right? If I've got good rapport with them, I might make them chuckle by saying something like, hey, what's your favorite part about being a real estate agent, right? Or, hey, what's your least favorite part about being a real estate agent, right? The main things for a FSBO are they believe that they will be saving money by selling it themselves. And that is just flat out, basically based on almost every statistic that you could analyze, not true, right? They're still going to pay a buyer's agent. And so now we're only talking about 3%. So your job is to convince them that you're better than the average real estate agent, right? Or you work for a company that's better than the average company, right? And you need to cause them to be, you need to create some doubt and some concern, right? There's safety concerns with meeting strangers that may or may not be qualified, right? There's follow-up and lockbox access. There's the inconvenience of, basically have to be at every single showing, right? There's the potential issue of how do you manage multiple offers, and what do you need to be looking for, and what's reasonable request and what's not reasonable request, right? They're essentially paying a professional real estate agent to negotiate against a non-professional real estate agent. Now, how much sense does that make, right? So you got to create some doubt in their mind. You got to find it to be pain. You got to make sure they vocalize how painful the experience is, right? Oh my gosh, I had 4 showings scheduled and only one of them showed up, and it was a real estate agent, right? And then we talked about the follow-up questions, which are, is it still available? How many offers did you get this week? How many showings did you have? How many of those showings were actually buyers, and how many of them were real estate agents, right? There's not a lot of motivation for a buyer's agent to go driving up and down streets looking for FSBO signs. They're busy. When they have a client that says, I want a 4-bedroom home in Roswell High School District up to 500, they go into FMLS and they show the buyer what the matches are. They don't drive up and down every street in Roswell looking for FSBO signs, right?
Yeah, and
there's 4 types of buyers that we talked about in the script. That this is probably what you're referring to as old school, which I could debate you on that. Which is, look, you got people that are in a hurry that want to buy. They're going for a real estate. They're going to have a real estate representation. Okay, they got a weekend to find a home. They're going to find real estate representation. The other type is the person who is very cautious, right? They need a lot of hand-holding. They're certainly going to have the help of a real estate agent. Okay, the next group of people is investors who pry on the unsophisticated, uninformed home sellers, FSBOs. And you don't want to sell it to them because you won't get top dollar, right? And the fourth group is what they call the looky-loos. These are the people who actually can't convince a real estate agent to show them property because they're unqualified or they're, let's just say unqualified, right? And they're not going to be able to buy the home anyway. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, and I finally got the amount that she's looking to, list the house at, which is, let's see, it's almost 30,000 above the most recent, highest price that went in our neighborhood. So I think they're they have the crazy seller syndrome, because it's really I don't think that anybody's going to spend that much for this neighbor, in our neighborhood. She kind of justified how I didn't get, this is all over text, so I haven't had a chance to talk to her. Like, how did you arrive at your price point? Because
you got to get in front of them as fast as you can.
Oh yeah. So I'm trying to, but yeah, she's kind of given me the hand. Well, not really. I just haven't been getting a response from her. Well,
the fact of the matter is she's not winning yet.
Well, right, because that just happened on Monday.
It's been 48 hours.
Yeah, so she's
sold 5 homes in that amount of time.
Right. So she isn't quite. I don't know how much time it takes for somebody who's trying to sell their home on their own to figure out that it's going to be a little painful. Maybe it may not be. I mean, I've seen crazier things, but you just got to get in front of her and say, hey, I'd like to chat with you about the home selling process, right? I totally respect your desire to sell on your own, right? But every day I'm on the phone with buyers who might be interested in your home. And every day I'm on the phone with sellers looking for buyers, and I might find one that's interested in this home. So I'd just like to meet you and see the property and learn more about your desires, right? And then that's when you can ask the questions of, so where are you moving to, right? Hell, she might sell the home today by herself, but she needs a buyer's agent on where she's moving to. She may not even really know what it's like to be a buyer right now. So she might just be thinking she's going to sell the home herself and then go, back like it was in 2012, and there'll be thousands of properties available and she can just grab one and take her sweet time. Well, she's about to get a dose of reality, right? So we've got to get her to vocalize, right, what she is experiencing and what her goals are, so that you can show her that may not actually be reality right now. Make sense? Right. Mm-hmm.
So you just got to ask more and more questions. If you don't know what to say, ask another question, right?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. Why is that important to you? What's next? Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
And today,
Hey, Bill.
Corey, go ahead. Oh my gosh, sitting on this bed is giving me the worst backache. Corey, what were you about to say?
Okay, Raymond. No, I think Raymond was going to say something.
Raymond, you're up.
I found this FSBO video on YouTube from Jeff Glover.
Yep.
I think I watched it a couple of times so far. It's really good. He was talking about that too, and he threw like a lot of what Bill is saying, and he threw like some data points in there too about FSBO. So it was really good. I've watched it a couple times. I think it'll kind of be helpful.
Will you post that in the
on the group, Raymond?
Yeah.
Yep, I will.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'm going to give you guys a challenge today, okay? Today's the last day of the first quarter. I want you to push yourself today, okay? I know that you guys are capable of awesome things, and I don't think, let me just double check. although all of you guys are awesome real estate agents, I don't think any of you have reached your potential yet. Neither have I. Okay, nothing to be ashamed of. Okay, go out there today and make a couple extra calls. Go out there today and approach a stranger that you could help. Okay, make it a point today to add a couple people to your database, maybe a couple people extra to your database. Make it a point today to go find a business owner that you could help support with a referral. Okay. Today's the last day of March, the last day of the first quarter. If everyone by the end of the evening can post their numbers and make sure they're totally caught up, that would be super helpful. Raymond, can you post it in the announcements page? Because people are going to lose that link right after I close this down.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Let's go make the final day of the first quarter incredible. Okay, let's go get some momentum for the beginning of the second quarter. Let's go and refine our second quarter foundational GPS. Let's go ahead and build out if we want to make any changes to the document that I shared with you yesterday. And let's really get purposeful about every minute that we spend this month, okay, and this quarter. Okay, all of us are wasting a lot of time, me included, okay? So let's get really, really clear on what it is we want and why we want it, right? I want to sell those 6 homes so that I can pay off my car and, have an extra $25,000 to put towards an investment property or whatever it may be. Okay, this business can give us anything we want. Okay, we just got to go out there and do the work. Make sense? All right, any final thoughts?
If anybody has any success with doing that today, then let's share that in the group chat.
I agree. Great idea. All right, you guys, I'm proud of you. I'm very, very proud of you. Okay. Yesterday was fun talking to the region about our program. I'm talking to the KWRI on Monday at the national call about the program. Like I said yesterday, we're starting to get some attention. And none of that would have happened without each and every one of you waking up, going out there and helping buyers buy and sellers sell. So I'm really, really proud of you. It's an honor to be in business with you. And today's session at 3:00 on the building your buyer presentation will be in Candace's room. And the session tomorrow on mastering contracts will also be in Candace's room. That's at 12:30 tomorrow. Okay, you guys have an awesome day. See you soon.